Inside the Ghost Fence, atop the ridges and peaks of Red Mountain, lie the domain of the Sixth House. Fortresses and citadels shrouded in constant light storms, the billowing sounds of Sixth House bells and the machinations of Dagoth Ur foretell of battles to be had, challenges to face, and an enemy that awaits your defeat. Oh, sweet Nereval. The dungeons and citadels of Red Mountain are meant to be in-game content. The final thrilling chapters of Morrowind's main quest, where you'll face off against the hordes of the Sixth House, defeat the ash vampires of each of the Sixth House citadels, delve deep through perilous chambers to retrieve the legendary artifacts of Keening and Sundar, and come at long and growing last to face Dagoth Ur himself. Except of course, this is all just a pure load of nonsense. I mean, in-game content? Don't make me laugh. In Vemynal Morrowind, the dungeons and citadels of Red Mountain were anything but the climactic finale of an epic quest. Instead of epic, sprawling dungeon delves full of memorable encounters, you know what you got? You got boring, bland, bare bones, copy and pasted, tiny little Dwemer ruins of near nary a single Sixth House statue to differentiate them from literally any other Dwemer ruin in Morrowind. I mean, these in-game dungeons were pathetic. The Citadel of Dagoth Ur didn't have a single bit of Sixth House decor. And that's the final dungeon! This is what everything has been leading up to. The citadels of Odrosal and Vemynal are little better. Vemynal's entrance is a bland set of boring corridors with no Sixth House furnishings. Oh, I'm sorry. I should clarify, there is exactly one ash statue in the opening cell of Vemynal. Bloody pathetic. The participation trophy of Sixth House dungeon design. A single ash statue to remind you that this is one of the big bad final Sixth House citadels. Good grief. And of course there is a bit more decor in Vemynal's final chamber, but not much. And Odrosal, where you can find Keening, which you need for the main quest, isn't much better. Instead of a great big epic dungeon crawl to find this legendary artifact, why, it's just a straightforward, plain, bare bones, and incredibly short Dwemer ruin. In fact, you don't even need to delve very deep into Odrosal to find Keening. All you need to do is hang a right at the entrance, go through a locked door, up a ladder, and hey, what do you know, there's Keening, easy as you please. And you don't even need to fight anything in order to get it. Some epic adventure that was, right? It takes less than 2 minutes. You'll have to forgive my extended ranting here. Just, Bethesda's terrible in-game dungeon designs are just something that trigger me every time I have to replay them for a showcase video. It's just... they are the pinnacle of bad dungeon design. But fear not, for that is now a thing of the past for today's Mod of the Day. For today we're showcasing Unholy Trinity, Dagoth Ur, Vemynal, and Odrosal Remade by Glittergear and Kildozery. This is a complete dungeon overhaul of the Sixth House citadels of Vemynal, Odrosal, and Dagoth Ur, doing away with those boring cookie-cutter Dwemer ruin designs, rebuilding each dungeon from the ground up, and massively expanding them so each one is now a proper epic dungeon delve worthy of being called in-game content. And these dungeons look and feel and ooze the creepy, disturbing, and terrifying vibes of the Sixth House. You'll have no question of where you are and who occupies these fortresses and dens of despair when you raid each one. And like true strongholds, you'll be in for a fight, with hordes of foes to block your way, and provide a proper challenge to plunder these forsaken depths. We'll take a look at each of these reinvigorated and redesigned 6-house citadels, starting with the stronghold of Vemynal, the home of Dagoth Vymnan, brother of Dagoth Ur, and the industrial heartbeat to the 6 houses' war efforts, where weapons and plans for destruction are forged to the beat of anvils and ancient rumor machines. And take note here, Bethesda, this is how you design an entrance to an in-game dungeon. Look at this beautiful epic sight. This is how you designed a 6-house citadel. All that atmosphere, all that verticality, welcoming you into a perilous delve into the treacherous lair of one of Dagoth Ur's top commanders. A proper delve to uncover Sundar, not some 3-minute hike through copy and pasted corridors. Oh, and look at that, actual 6-house banners adorning the entrance. You know, it's almost like you're entering a 6-house base, and instead of some unadorned, regular old Doom of Ruin. Imagine that! And now, to get to Dagoth Vymnan, you'll first have to go through a variety of minions of the 6th house. Fight through an armory where the forges run hot, and the followers of the 6th house are ready for battle. Each room, each chamber adorned with all the vestiges and symbols of that great house of Dagoth Ur. And then, finally, at the end, reach the Hall of Talk, which instead of being a fairly boring and unoriginal Doom interior, is now more appropriately fitted given the name. Full of Doomer machinery, spinning, creaking, clanking amid the darkly red shrines of the 6th house. This here is a proper and memorable dungeon delving experience. And that carries on to the other citadels as well. For next we have Odrosal, the old Doomer Training Academy, and now a vile lair of decay and corruption. The citadel of Dagoth Ur, and the resting place of the artifact of Keening. While this overhaul of Odrosal lacks the grand opening vista of Vemynal, it more than makes up for it with an expansive, almost maze-like web of corridors and chambers, covered in decor, dripping in the creepy, sinister atmosphere of the 6th house. And as you make your way down and down through the pits and halls of this once famed institution of learning, you'll see visible signs of corpus corruption, emanating, pouring over surfaces, a festering visible wound of the blight itself upon this forsaken place. Wreathing tentacles, undulating eldritch piles of flesh. Your journey through Odrosal will take you into a massive cavern complex beneath the surface of these Doomer ruins. Here the air grows thick and cloying, green mists of disease pulsating in the dim red lighting, leading you onwards towards your encounter with Dagoth Ur, at the heart of this pit of pestilence. And while the entry lacked that same vista verticality that Vemynal had, here you'll find verticality aplenty in these darkened depths. A great height, where at the very bottom lies the treasure you seek to defeat Dagoth Ur. No mere walk in the park. To achieve Keening, you'll now need to delve deep and fight through hordes of corpus creatures and servants of the 6th house. That's how you do a dungeon delve, by the by. You know, it doesn't need to be a 2-minute walk to get Keening. You can make it actually interesting, you know. Again, Bethesda, I hope you're taking notes here. And now, finally, we come to the bastion of Dagoth Ur, the final dungeon that heralds the way to your confrontation with Dagoth Ur himself. Now, I've already spoken at length about just how terrible the vanilla Dagoth Ur dungeon was back when we showcased Dagoth Ur Fleshed Out in 2024. So, I won't repeat myself too much here. But it is ridiculous that the final 6-house dungeon in the vanilla game had 0 6-house trap banes or furnishings to speak of. Obviously, that is no longer the case here, for Unholy Trinity transforms Dagoth Ur into a long, massive dungeon delve of appropriate scope and depth as to fit the game's final dungeon, with all the detailing, atmosphere, and unsettling horrors as is only appropriate for the 6th house. From a new grand opening hall brimming with lava and the chanting of cultists, to a number of new interior cells, giving you new encounters and trials to face before meeting with Dagoth Ur. This reinvigorated dungeon is a delight to explore, fight, and delve through. I especially love Kagranak's Path, a new dungeon cell that connects all the various bits of the facilities of Dagoth Ur together. This cell is massive, with dual walkways connecting each different part of the dungeon together, each looking out upon the massive depths of the bowels of Red Mountain, lava pouring from above with great pools of hot magma below. The level of verticality here is simply sublime. And really, this is just fantastic dungeon design. Each time you complete a different segment of the Dagoth Ur dungeon, you'll again just walk through one of these covered corridors, leading ever downwards towards your final encounter and a Kulakon's chamber. There is a ton of detailing here, and the backdrop of these corridors isn't just set dressing. You'll gain access to this larger interior cell that all these corridors go through once you reach the bottom. So you can fly through the bowels of this volcano if you so desire, and it is a really beautiful sight. That's not all though, for deep inside the facilities of Dagoth Ur, you'll find all sorts of new depths to plumb. From darkened corridors and chambers of mist-filled depths and volcanic vents billowing steam and ash, to caverns filled with raucous sound as cultists play upon dozens of instruments, a cacophony of the madness of the 6th house, a marching beat calling all dreamers to awake and follow Dagoth Ur. New halls and corridors stacked to the brim with furniture, 6-house statues glowing in corners, symbols and banners everywhere, corpus meat hanging from large industrial chains, the bodies of felled warriors, adventurers, and ordinators dangling in gruesome display, large open spaces filled with machines glowing red from the heat of Red Mountain. Each chamber, each corridor is a visual delight upon the senses, offering new horrors, new sounds, new encounters as you make your way to Dagoth Ur. And yes, this overhaul also includes Dagoth Ur's chambers, the facility cavern where you'll come face to face with the Myrrh and the Golden Mask. And this chamber might just look a little familiar to you, because it's also part of Lucid Disturbing Dreams. You know, just part of the final dream sequence in which Dagoth Ur invites you to come beneath Red Mountain. This is just a fantastic overhaul of Dagoth Ur. And while I do, also love the overhaul scene in Dagoth Ur Fleshed Out, I like how Unholy Trinity just really builds upon the epic scale of this final dungeon. Obviously, I'm a sucker for verticality, but Unholy Trinity doesn't just use verticality to excellent effect. It uses atmosphere and just smart dungeon design to create a memorable descent into the beating heart of Red Mountain that just feels appropriately grand in scope for the game's final dungeon. Really, just all these overhauls are fantastic, and they come as both a complete 3-in-1 package and with more modular options. So, you can pick and choose if you so desire. But really, I recommend all of them. They make these citadels just properly unique and distinct, giving you adventures worth remembering. And currently, in the case of Odrosal and Vemynal, Unholy Trinity is basically just the best option out there for those 2 dungeons. But, that's just our mod of the day. So, as always, I've been your host, Golf Guy. Thanks for watching, stay safe, stay healthy, happy modding, and I'll see you all next time.